Soul contracts are loose blueprints of the life that a person plans with their spirit team or with God before they're born that encapsulate the lessons that they want to learn in this lifetime here on Earth.
Welcome to the Everything Works Out for Us podcast. My name is Marina, and I'm so happy that you're here to join me on this journey of embracing a growth mindset that's grounded in gratitude and self awareness. I'm an REBT mindset life coach, actor, singer, content creator, and the bigger sister that you always wanted. And I'm ready to start turning our mental and emotional roadblocks into road maps. In each episode, I holistically utilize psychology, spirituality, and my own personal experiences to strive to empower you to step into your power and deeply connect to both your inner knowing and the world around you. Let's grow together.
Hello, my beautiful listeners, and welcome back to the pod. I know I missed last week. I accidentally got caught in a natural disaster. I got caught in Hurricane Milton. I was visiting my best friend in Florida, and I got on the airplane, and then they said, actually, you know what, y'all, we're gonna deplane and we're gonna close down the airports for 3 days. Good luck. So that was a lesson in just trusting God, trusting the universe. I wasn't meant to get on that plane. I was meant to spend the extra time with my best friend. But speaking of my best friend, this week I wanted to talk about soulmates. So I'm sure some of you know autumn is approaching us. It's here, and autumn is considered cuffing season or the beginning of cuffing season. And cuffing season is basically slang for finding a boo thing for the colder months. Handcuffing? I don't know. I'm currently handcuff free at the moment. I don't have a boo thing to go apple picking or pumpkin painting with, but this week I do want to chat about soulmates and do a deep dive on them, if you will. And even though I may not be cuffed up at the moment, I do know that my soulmate is out there. So I'll just enjoy this season of change on my own and crunch all my own leaves. But whether you're more spiritual or you're more science based, I'm going to discuss all the theories behind soulmates, what they are, and what we can do to find ours. And I feel like this segue kind of makes sense, but soulmates are not just romantic. Soulmates can be platonic, familial, and I just want to get into all of that. Soulmates are connections in which we share deep bonds with one another and where we're safe to grow and evolve together with a deeper and almost inexplicable and unspoken understanding with another person. So, the Merriam Webster dictionary definition of a soulmate is a close friend or romantic partner with whom one has a unique, deep connection based on mutual understanding and acceptance. And I love this definition right off the bat because it already states that this can be platonic or romantic. So let's jump right into the spiritual stuff. I believe that soulmates form soul contracts with one another before we inhabit our bodies on this earth. Soul contracts are loose blueprints of the life that a person plans with their spirit team or with God before they're born that encapsulate the lessons that they want to learn in this lifetime here on earth. So, therefore, our soulmates are a part of these soul contracts. They may show up in this life to help each other through their lessons, or maybe not even in this life, in a next life. But essentially, these contracts are decided by our souls and agreed upon before we're here, and we move through many lifetimes with our soulmates. So that's why I think it's important to clarify that it's not just romantic. For example, someone who may appear as a trusted mentor soulmate in this lifetime may have been our mother in another lifetime, or no matter who the souls physically manifest as, they show up again and again in each lifetime to help each other grow and evolve. I personally find this notion so comforting because when I'm struggling with the impermanence of life, obviously, since we're human and we know that we're all going to die someday, the thought that even when our time here on earth is done, I'm not done spending time with my true soulmates. We'll always have each other forever. It's just very comforting. And even with pets, if you can hear Buddy meowing in the background, Buds, come here. Can you hear that purr? Okay. Anyway, so as I was saying, even with pets, I'm a huge, huge, huge animal lover, as many of you know, and I really do believe that with my current cat, Buddy, and with my childhood cat, Baby, I really believe that those are my soulmates as well. I just really feel like we chose each other to be together in this lifetime. In a dimension that is not just this 3D reality. I believe that we chose each other before this, and the way that we came into each other's lives was fate. Okay, so we have the dictionary definition of a soulmate, but let's dive a little bit deeper. What does a soulmate relationship truly entail? A soulmate relationship is a complete understanding of another person. There's unconditional love, and it's a relationship of complete trust, respect, and forgiveness. And it's someone who you can be completely 100% yourself around in any kind of moment, in moments of silence, in moments of joy, pain, sadness, grief, anger, confusion, every moment, everywhere, every way. With this feeling of being your complete self, there's an undeniable chemistry with your soulmate. If this is a romantic partner, the chemistry may need less of an explanation. I think everyone knows what physical chemistry is, but it goes deeper than physical intimacy. Chemistry between two soulmates means that sometimes you'll complete each other's thoughts. You'll share an unexplainable sense of humor that no one else seems to understand, or you can communicate with just a look, or you're just completely and fully relaxed being in each other's presence. Typically, when you first come in contact with your soulmate, it feels like you've known each other forever. It's a gut feeling, it's an instant bond, it's a feeling, it's a sense of home. It feels almost impossible. It's just this incredibly strong bond that forms almost immediately, and it's truly because the bond has always been there. You're just greeting each other in these new bodies. But that sense of familiarity has and will always be there. Now, I am blessed to experience many soulmate connections in my life, and I'm eager to experience even more. But I want to share a few examples of how I feel that I know that I've met some of my soulmates. With a soulmate, because the contract is made before we're here, it doesn't matter our circumstances in life, we will always find each other, right? Even in the most impossible of ways, it's literally fate, and this fact alone has convinced me that soulmates exist. So, speaking of my best friend who I was visiting in Florida, his name is Kyle, one of my soulmates easily. We met in middle school online on YouTube. So, this was in the late 2000s, like before 2010. To give you some context, Twitter was just becoming popular, Snapchat didn't exist, um, dating apps dating apps didn't exist, I don't think, but online dating like Match.com and whatever, eHarmony was only just starting to become a thing, and it was really only these paid services for people who were very serious about meeting partners. So, all this to say is that forming real life friendships online or meeting people online or from the internet, it was not a thing yet. It was not common to do that. So, anyway, we met on YouTube over some shared interests and we started messaging, and then we discovered that we somehow lived near each other, like less than 30 minutes apart from each other, because we realized that we were going to the same concert. And yes, it was the Glee concert. Thank you very much. Thank you for asking. Okay. So after a couple years of talking, and becoming super close and Skyping every night, the millennial version of Zoom, and our parents vetting each other, of course, because we were children, and again, meeting online was not a thing. So our parents were like, "Who is this potential creeper? You're not meeting this person." But our parents vetted each other, and finally they agreed and decided that Kyle's dad was going to drive him to see my high school play. And that's when we first met, and thus began our transition from online friends to actual friends. And we didn't even have the ability to drive yet, we were just kids. So, long story long, the fact that we just randomly met on a website where people all over the globe post videos and we just happened to live in such close physical proximity to each other that we actually were able to become real life in person best friends. It's just not a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences for soulmates. And we've been best friends for like 15 years now, which is crazy to say. So I'm so eternally grateful for our friendship. Example number two, one of my other best friends, Alex, we met in college at NYU. I went to school at NYU, and we, as freshmen, had random dorm assignments. We didn't get to choose our roommates, so I had a random dorm assignment living with five other girls. Yes, six girls in a suite. Woo, college. And naturally, when we were randomly paired together by NYU, we formed a group chat and we started talking. But then a week or two before school, we learned, or I should say, I learned that one of my roommates had either dropped out or got transferred or something happened. She was no longer going to be one of my roommates. And Alex had initially got deferred from NYU. So I think that's just like waitlisted. They're like, maybe we like you, we'll see. But then when I lost this other roommate, Alex was placed in my dorm or my suite like a week before move-in. And so it's just crazy to think that initially I was almost bummed out because I had been planning color schemes or whatever freshmen do with this other random girl. But then Alex moved in and we just had this instant connection with each other, and we spent all night together doing freshman activities, and we walked around Washington Square Park in New York City, and we both said at that time that it just had felt like we had known each other forever. We just instantly clicked. And yeah, it just felt like the stars aligned, to be honest. So cheesy, but I truly cannot imagine my life without her. I am so, so grateful for her. And again, it's just this bizarre chain of events that led us to meeting one another. And it was fate, and we are soulmates. That's that. So, I guess to summarize, soulmates, they're gonna find each other. The universe, God will put soulmates in each other's lives at the right time. Or maybe at the agreed upon time that we had agreed upon before this life. Who knows? But we're gonna find each other because it seems impossible without that divine intervention, in my opinion. Okay, so we're chatting about soulmates, platonic. Obviously, I'll get into romantic a little bit, but I do also want to talk about twin flames. Now, this is kind of a buzzword as of late, and I do feel like it is a misunderstood term, so I want to get into that a little bit. In conversations surrounding soulmates, often the phrase twin flame will come up. And initially, when I had first heard this term, I just assumed it to be a boss level soulmate, if you will. Like the one, the soulmate of all soulmates. And that could potentially hold truth, but it's so much more than that. And in my opinion, a regular soulmate, if you could even call it that. I mean, soulmates are not regular in any sense, but you know what I mean. A typical soulmate will bring peace, harmony, safety, comfort, and unconditional love, but twin flames can bring quite the opposite. So soulmates are said to be two different souls that find each other, and twin flames are believed to be one soul that has been torn into two. Geez, this phrase alone just sounds excruciating, and honestly, that's what it is. It's an extremely intense connection as these two halves will mirror each other, and with this mirroring comes extreme triggering. All your wounds, all your insecurities, all your negative qualities are brought to the surface on top of the positive ones, but it's again very intense. Because the purpose of this twin flame relationship is to heal your innermost wounds, become self aware, and commit to the most ultimate form of growth and healing. The running and chasing dynamic is what this whole flame dynamic is about. If we're going to jump into psychology, absolutely the anxious and avoidant trap. That's going to go on with twin flames. And that's not to say everyone caught in an anxious avoidant cycle is going to be a twin flame. I don't want people to hide under the fact, or some people hide under the belief that, oh, he's my twin flame. It's like, no, he's just abusive. You're in an abusive narcissistic relationship, because that can also be the anxious avoidant trap. So I just want to make that clear as well. But with a twin flame connection, it is most likely going to be either very similar to or going to be an anxious avoidant chasing, running dynamic. With this being said, it takes immense strength and bravery and commitment to dive into your pain in order to heal it when you are in a twin flame relationship. With this twin flame dynamic, it's typically the feminine energy. Again, this is not gendered in the sense of like a boy and a girl, but the feminine energy is going to be the spiritual leader and the one who chooses to not run from the pain and who feels it all deeply and who takes the accountability first and who surrenders to the journey. It's the feminine energy that's most likely going to realize what is going on at least first. And then the masculine energy tends to run from it. They run from the pain, they emotionally withdraw, they deny, and they hide. But when the two, or if the two, are able to learn their lessons and heal their wounds and commit to unconditional love for both the self and each other, then their souls rejoin as one again and have the capability of becoming spiritual leaders together and sharing the power of unconditional love with the world. It's extremely painful, yet extremely beautiful. And unlike soulmates, where you can have many, you can only have one twin flame, right? Because it's one soul split into two. So, as a twin flame, this journey may last over multiple lifetimes. After separation, you may find union in this life, or maybe you'll find union in another one. Just that's depending on the lessons that you each have to learn. I do believe that a twin flame separation can be one of the most excruciating experiences we go through in these human bodies, because it's said when you share a soul, when you separate, it feels like you are losing a part of yourself, which I guess that kind of tracks. Is it healthy? But that's the crux of it all, with them gone, it's your God-given opportunity to love yourself and only yourself more unconditionally than you ever thought possible. And you also experience a different level of forgiveness. Learning how to forgive someone for causing you agonizing pain, because at the same time, you're forgiving yourself for not yet loving yourself as unconditionally as you have always deserved, as you should have been. The unconditional love and forgiveness that you feel towards your twin is the blueprint for the unconditional love and forgiveness that you must learn to give yourself. And I guess I don't think I said with a twin flame relationship, there will be a separation. That's part of the contract, that's part of the journey. With a soulmate, not necessarily true. It's most likely not going to be true with a soulmate. You'll find each other and then you'll have each other probably forever. So, anyway, all that being said, twin flames are more romanticized than they should be in the media, in my opinion, because if we're talking about butterflies, roses, and eternal love, you would much rather find a soulmate as a partner rather than a twin flame. It's gonna cause a lot less pain, probably. But again, our souls are all on different paths and different journeys, and we have different lessons to learn, and we we also can't experience joy without pain. And there could be pain in soulmate relationships too. So, all right, I'm rambling a little bit here. I think we've been talking spiritually for a while, so let's get into some science, because I promise that. We're going to talk psych, guys. All right. Humans, unlike most animals in the animal kingdom, are biologically wired to form bonds with specific individuals. This neurocircuitry is called pair bonding because we have oxytocin and vasopressin receptors in the reward centers of our brain. When we experience trust and love or positive social interactions, we feel pleasure and then we begin to form attachments to people. And then on top of this, people that we may consider soulmates or people that we just have very close relationships to share similar brain patterns, which I think is really interesting. And lastly, which may be the wildest of them all, based on research studies, those who we tend to immediately click with, we smell more alike than those we don't get along with. So, your soulmate, you're gonna think they smell good. Probably, unless you think you smell bad. Well, if you do, I mean, whatever, you're gonna smell like each other. So there's that. Yeah, while a lot of spiritual factors are at play, obviously, and oftentimes gut feelings or feelings of instant recognition may be hard to explain, there is some underlying biology behind it too. And it's also just further proof that we don't just have one soulmate. Our brains, we will have brain patterns similar to many other people, and we will have smells similar to multiple people. Now, if you're in a position where you don't think you've met a soulmate yet, or you want to know tips on how you can meet soulmates, meet more soulmates, meet the one soulmate, I'm going to give you some tips. So, number one, and most important one of them all, is you have to allow yourself to truly be yourself each and every day. And know who you are, know what you offer, do what you love to do, know what you deserve, and be brave enough to show up authentically with any new person that you meet. And of course, in the relationships that you currently have. The incredibly special and rare thing about soulmates is that you can be your full, true, and honest selves with no fear of judgment and no act you have to put on or mask you have to wear. But you'll only know that you found a soulmate when you allow yourself to be seen in this way. In my opinion, it's a win-win, right? Either you find a soulmate to be your authentic self around, or the people who don't necessarily like that authentic self will see themselves out anyway. It's exhausting to have to put on a front or pretend to be someone that you're not, so might as well just be yourself from start. Tip number two is truly believing that your person or your people are out there. You can sit there and wonder if soulmates exist, or you can just believe truly and fully that and trust that they do exist. And when the time is right, they will come into your life in the weird, inexplicable, perfect way that they're meant to. I want to share this quote from the Tony Robbins website that I love, and that's: the truth is that it's not important whether soulmates are real or not. What really matters is whether you believe soulmates are real. Your beliefs create your world, and if you believe that soulmates are real, that will affect how you go about looking for love, building relationships, and more. I love that. Moving on, focus on your own personal fulfillment and joy. As I discussed in my dating mindsets episode, sure, things may happen when you least expect them, but that's out of our control. We all know that. But what we can control is filling our own cup as much as we can, even if we're waiting for the one. When our own cup is filled to the brim, we'll be ready to invite someone else special into our lives without relying on them to fulfill us, complete us, or make us happy. We prove that while we can thrive on our own and be happy, we're also ready for someone to add on to that joy that is already there. It's literally the phrase plus one. You're already there, you're already the one, but it's plus one, bonus. I don't know. Does that make sense? All right, last two things. Stop settling and stop comparing. Trust yourself. Become so in tune with your body that you can tell the difference between excited butterflies and tummy turning anxiety. Trust that your soulmate is coming. And also know that your soulmate, your literal soulmate, the mate of your soul, is not going to make you question if you're good enough. They're not going to cheat on you. They're going to make you feel safe and secure. And also stop comparing yourself to relationships that you see on the media, or even the relationships that are with your friend or your friends and family's relationships, because everything can be different behind closed doors. For one, you never know what a relationship really is like unless it's your own. And two, their journey is not your journey. Their timeline is not your timeline. Maybe you need to learn some lessons before your next soulmate comes into your life, but Until then, continue to give immense gratitude for the soulmates that are currently in your life and how beautiful it is that you're experiencing life together and growing with each other. And yeah, when I fantasize and dream about meeting the one and whatnot, I have this deep knowing that they exist because of my soulmate relationships with my current friendships. I know that if trusting, beautiful, pure, raw, vulnerable, real relationships like that can exist with multiple people in my life, of course it can exist with my future spouse. So, yeah, it just that personally brings me peace. And we can all be impatient, but it's coming. They're coming. Okay. All right, loves. That's all I got for you this week. I'm gonna clock on out of here. I'm sending love to all of you and all of your soulmates. And just a reminder, you can check me out on TikTok. My handle is everything works out pod. No O in works. I'll put it on the screen here. You can check me out. Um, Make sure to share it with a friend or share the episode with a soulmate. And take care of yourself, stay grounded, and I'll see you when I see ya.